Fires rage in Kherson after a night of heavy shelling. Attacks on this southern Ukrainian city formerly occupied by Russian forces intensified when Ukraine's military reclaimed it weeks ago. Paramedics here treat a man who says half of his house is now gone. Residents of Kherson struggle without electricity, heating, and water as temperatures hover below freezing. They charge their phones and access the internet from pop-up tents. Retreating Russian forces damaged much of the critical infrastructure here, but Ukrainians say they restored partial power to the electricity grid. Western powers, meanwhile, denounced Russian President Vladimir Putin's tactics in Ukraine.
What he's doing is trying to weaponize winter, turn out the lights, turn off the heat, put the Ukrainian people into darkness and cold just as they head into the winter months. This is indeed barbaric.
On a recent trip to Indonesia for a summit of leaders of the 20 biggest economies, U.S. President Joe Biden and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak united to label Russia's war on Ukraine as barbaric and called for its end. At that same meeting, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov blamed Ukraine for demanding unrealistic conditions to bring an end to the war. Late last week, the group of 7 leading economies and Australia unified in applying new pressure to the Kremlin to withdraw from Ukraine by placing a price cap on Russian oil of $60 a barrel. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak, quoted by the Reuters news agency, said Moscow will not sell oil that is subject to a Western price cap, even if it has to cut production. Meanwhile, Ukrainian embassies and consulates in 6 European countries last week reported receiving bloody packages containing animals' eyes. And police in Spain detonated a suspicious envelope found at the U.S. Embassy in Madrid. An attempted attack Russia condemned. Authorities say that bomb was one of several recently sent around the capital, including one intercepted en route to Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Spanish authorities have yet to name suspects and stepped up security around public buildings. Separately, a letter bomb sent to the Ukrainian embassy in Madrid exploded while the package was being handled, injuring one person. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba described the incident as an act of terror. Throughout the nearly 10 months of war, observers both in and outside of Ukraine have called for investigations into Russian war crimes. In the city of Kharkiv, a frequent target for Russian shelling, officials built a cemetery for missiles and munitions for future review. Russia has denied targeting civilians in Ukraine. Arash, Arabasadi, VOA News.